Hello, everyone. Happy Matrix Monday, as we like to call it. It's wonderful to see everyone here and tuning in from all sorts of amazing places. If you are able to turn your cameras on, we would love to see your faces. And just welcome everyone to lesson 1 of the Thinking into Results program. So in order to get the most out of tonight's event, please make sure you have a notebook handy, take notes, and make sure to engage. Just interact. This is a safe place. The Matrix family is really like one big family, so feel free to ask questions, to engage, and most importantly, have fun and play all out.
Amazing, everybody. Welcome to the Thinking Results Workshop. It was a while back when the team said, what if we were to invite friends and family to our Thinking and Results, our flagship workshop? And as we're on lesson 1 here, I think it's an appropriate time. And we really wanted people that were in Thinking and Results to be able to invite friends, family, neighbors. So welcome one, welcome all. I was really, really excited to be working with you here tonight. I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this. And as Angie said, this is interactive, right? If you have a question, raise your hand, speak up, engage, have some fun, play all out, don't be shy. And I think you're going to get a lot of value out of tonight. I know we're really, really excited. In lesson 1, goal setting, it's really the science of goal achieving. If anybody here knows who Bob Proctor is and you follow the lineage, you know that what Bob teaches and the history going back to Earl Nightingale and Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich is really on the science of achievement, right? The mind-body connection. We're all born creators. We're creative beings, but we're not taught any of this stuff in school. If you follow me at all, you've heard me say that probably a million times, right? I was in my early to mid 40s, before I started to learn any of this. And I had gone to superior traditional education. I'd gone to engineering school. I'd been an architect, a builder, had all this knowledge, but I was getting inferior results, right? And it wasn't until I met Bob Proctor, somebody who studied the mind-body connection for a good part of 63 years, that I learned the metaphysics of how human beings think and act and operate. So tonight is going to be goal setting. And my sincere wish for you guys, right, is that you leave here with inspiration and excitement about your future. I don't want you to just kind of sit back and relax and be distracted. Play all out, jump all in, take notes, ask questions, and you can either raise your hand or just blurt it right out. You're not going to bother me if you have a question on any part of the content. So I really want you to leave here inspired. And there's a difference between inspiration and motivation. It's actually impossible for one human being to motivate another one. That's an inside out thing. Inspiration comes from when you guys do something that everyone around you sees and they say, oh, I want to be like that. I want to move like that. I want results like that. So my goal here tonight is to hopefully leave you with inspiration and excitement about the possibility of your future. And I also want you to leave here with a clear path to achieving your goal. You should have some good notes tonight in a very clear path. And we're going to invite you guys that want to go on the 6-month journey with us, but you're going to have a clear path, maybe for the first time ever, towards achieving your goals. And the last thing, I hope and really wish that you have found a community with us that'll support you in your dreams. One of the major things, and I think the most important things about the Matrix, is our communities. It's the humans. It's all of you that are in our different programs coming together in a spirit of harmony to help each other. So buckle up. I think tonight's going to be absolutely amazing. And in the fashion of thinking and the results for our clients that are here, I want to start with some wins. And let's see, Mr. Mark LePage, why don't we start with you, brother? If you could unmute and share a win, that'd be amazing.
Well, yes, thanks, Brian, and I can. I went to a meeting this week at the school board, and to kind of know what was going on with professional burnout, and to offer my services. And I went in there like with all my training, my teaching, my union career. It was finally happening, and it's because of these goal settings. And I mean, I wrote them down, and I'm in that school board. I'm meeting with unions, and so it's literally happening, and it happened this week. So thank you.
No, I love that, and I love your journey. You're a really, really good student. You're very, very coachable. You're hungry, and that's what really matters. Is it's one thing to be a part of a program. It's another thing to do every single little piece of it and be really, really coachable. So I love that. And for those of you that are friends and family here, the reason that we do wins for the week. It might sound kind of cliche or kind of like unicorns and rainbows, but we're literally conditioning our students to always look for what's good. Think about if you wake up every morning, you're just always looking for what's good. What's the good in things, even when the outside might not be looking so good, right? If we condition ourselves to look for good, it's a transmutation of energy. You're flipping the frequency of your thought pattern. So probably the first thing I want you guys to understand tonight is understanding thinking positive versus thinking negative, being in a responsive state, creating your environment as opposed to being in a reactive state. So that's why we do wins. Stacy, what do you got? You always have some good wins.
So I wrote my press release for the upcoming author event that I'm doing this month in Florence, where my parents live. And somebody picked up my press release from the PR site that it goes on. They wrote an article on it and sent me the information. And then I had somebody else reach out to me about wanting to interview me for their online website. And that'll stay up for a really long time. So I emailed them that I would love to do that. And then the neighbor next door is moving and he was giving away a free air fryer. My roommate he wants to know, do you want it or give it to somebody? He's like, I'll take it. I could use it. So I got a free air fryer when I move into my own space.
There you go. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. It's just the energy, right? Awesome. I love it. Anna, how about you?
Hi, Brian.
How are you?
Good. How are you? I'm so
Amazing.
thankful to be here. Last week you challenged me to post a reel. So I was really shocked that you did, and I actually posted 3 since then. So thank you for challenging me, and that's my win for the week.
That's amazing. Congratulations. And again, there's no such thing as big or small. It's all relative. And something might be small in somebody's world, it's a big, big thing in another world. So congratulations for that. It's not the easiest thing to do. Rob, what about you? We'll do one last one and we'll get the show started.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, okay, so I'm going to make my wins really quick because they've been coming in back to back. I've been recognizing more synchronicities in my life. I've been still watching the Earl Nightingale on Attitude every day. I've also been scripting my goals day and night for the past, I don't know how many nights. Every morning I get up, write my goal down 100 times before I go to bed. So I've been doing that as well. I've also noticed that I respond differently. I'm responding differently to scenarios that seem to like, I call it an echo. It's like I've been here before, things that normally trigger me. It's just like I'm a different person. It's like my perspective has changed. So that would be my considered win for this week.
Love it, love it, love it. Great job, everybody. Great job. And again, the reason why we do this is to get the energy going, to focus on what is going good in your life. So absolutely appreciate that. And for those of you that don't know us, I just want to go through a little bit of the history of the mindset. I don't want you to just take my word for everything we're talking about tonight. I've just been a really, really good student in a long lineage of student. And it actually goes back, if anybody has read The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, there's these principles that the science is behind how the world's most successful people think and act and operate. And Andrew Carnegie was the world's first recorded billionaire, I believe. And he had these principles that he had learned over time from studying and application. And he didn't want to go to his grave with these principles. So he inspired a young Napoleon Hill. Some of you know Napoleon Hill as the author of Think and Grow Rich and a whole series of books. And he spent 25 years in study. Imagine that as a young person, like committing to 25 years of study before you produce something. And there's a book called Outwitting the Devil. If you want to really know the crazy, crazy life that Napoleon Hill had, is just absolutely amazing, astounding man. And that book went on, I have it right here on my desk. It went on to change millions and millions and millions of lives. Think and Grow Rich. And that information was passed on to Earl Nightingale. A lot of you may not know Earl, but he was around in the 40s and 50s. And he spent his entire adult life, same thing, studying the mind-body connection and the sciences behind achievement. And he passed that information on to my mentor, Bob Proctor. Now, Bob, I know very, very well. I spent a lot of one-on-one time with him. He was a friend, a mentor. I spent a good part of 10 years with him. And he was just, I always tell people, it's like hanging out with Yoda. I've never met a wiser person, a more knowledgeable person. He's read over 4,000 books. I used to tell people he had a 63-year degree in metaphysics, the mind-body connection, because he literally studied every single day, and he was teaching and training for a good part of 6 decades. It's just an amazing achievement. And here's myself and Bob studying Think and Grow Rich, passing the torch, right? And I was just very, very blessed to be around this gentleman and to be working with him and to be menteeing under him, teaching and coaching the sciences of achievement. So what you're going to see here tonight is not my opinion. It's based on study over time and based on a long lineage of very, very successful people. So the real question, and this is the first thing I want you guys to do, is take out your notepads. 2 things. Number one, if you can turn your camera on. No shy people. Turn your camera on if possible. And number 2, grab your notepad. This is going to be interactive. And we want your feedback. But I do want you to answer this question. Whether you're a client or a visitor, friend or family, however you're here, why are you here? Why are you here? What are you looking to get out of tonight? Let me ask one of our seasoned veterans. Larry, what are you looking to get out of tonight? You've been with us for a long time.
Yeah, and that's the reason I'm here, just because you come back and you hear the material many, many times, and you pick up something different each time you're here. And it's not only what you're saying, but it's also what other people at the group almost say something, really triggers something in your head. So I'm always here just to hear what I'm going to pick up new each time I come to the meeting.
It's all, you guys are going to see, it's about the repetition, right? You can hear something 100 times, and then the 101st time, it's like, oh my God, that's what that means. And this has happened to me many, many times. Sure, it's happened to you guys. You can hear something 1,000 times, and it's the 1,001st time that it really chimes in. Let me ask somebody newer. Javier, what's up, brother? It's good to see you. Why are you here tonight, my friend? Other than I gave you an invite.
I think for that very reason, I am obsessed with personal development myself, and there is so many new things to learn, but also so many things that we need to hear time and time again to really allow it to sink in. And so I'm here as a student to take in as much information as I can and continue to transform my life. So I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. Appreciate you being here. And yeah, guys, I want you to answer this for yourselves, right? What are you hoping to get out of this? And what is your main reason for being here tonight? If you ask that question and dig down, you might find something that you didn't really discover before. And I can answer the question, and this may not be what you think, but let me explain. You're here to learn how to build wealth. And I don't mean money, although that could be a part of it. But the real reason anybody would really come here tonight is to expand the human experience. Your time is valuable. My time is valuable. Time is life, right? And it's 8 o'clock at night. You're here for a reason, and that's to expand the whole human experience. So in the Matrix, we define wealth, again, not as money, but it's being able to do what you want with who you want, the people you love, when you want, and where you want. This is how we in the Matrix define what people call freedom or wealth. A lot of people say, I just want to be free, right? It's like, well, you're in America, you are free. You're not captive, right? You're able to do what you want. Now, you might have environmental circumstances that sort of control you, but I believe that this is what most people really, really want when we talk about wealth building. And when we talk about this, we have this wheel of life. And all of our students and clients have taken this. I invite you guys to go to our website and take this assessment. It's like taking an X-ray of these 10 different areas of your life. And it's not meant to be judgmental. It's meant to have a snapshot of where you're at. Because it's hard to move forward if we don't know where we're at. So one of the gifts I want to give you guys tonight is for you to be able to take this lifestyle assessment. You can just go right to our page, not right now, but bookmark it, Matrix Success International. We don't want you to leave the show here. Matrix Success International. And if you are a client of ours and you haven't done this or taken this, make sure to do it. It's absolutely amazing. And you can have a printout of the Wheel of Life, kind of where you're at. And then I challenge you to print this out like once a quarter if you're working with us as a student to see how you pull that shape out. It's absolutely amazing. And our team did an amazing job on this. All right, so that's our That's our first gift. So now that I showed you that wheel of life, let's take a look at this again. Right? Is it your physical environment? Is your health, your relationships, your spirituality? Maybe it's your finances, a little bit of both. Why are you really here tonight? Because the more we can dig down into that, the more you're going to be able to apply what we're teaching here tonight to exactly what you want. Stacey, you got a question?
No, I was just going to answer yours of why I was here tonight.
Oh, okay. Why are you here?
Because every time I come to a matrix group every week, it helps remind me to focus on positive things and to help me continue to change the mindset that I was programmed to have when I was a kid. I was programmed with so much negativity and I didn't realize it until I got to an adult. And every time I come into this group, I hear from others, their thoughts and their suggestions, their wins, whatever it might be. I hear something, and every time I hear something, it allows me to make an improvement in myself. It allows me to evaluate where I'm at and where my mindset is at. It allows me to think about how, if I am negative, how I can change it and what I can do. And it's a constant reminder, because if we don't do the work that it takes, you can easily revert back to your old ways if you're not careful. So I come because it helps me to get better. So any terror barriers, any paradigms that I need to change, anything that I feel like I'm fighting through and not coming as easily, it just helps me to realize that I can do it. This is a support system, but they can't do the work for me. They can give me ideas and suggestions, but I have to do the work to make the changes. And then I will eventually grow to the next stage. And I might not see the growth right away, but it will come in time as I continue to do the work. If that makes any sense.
We've all seen it, and you hit it right on the head. The whole reason that the Matrix programs have communities is exactly for that. So we can get together every week, celebrate our wins, move forward together, push through challenges together. So I'm glad that you said that, because I think community is probably the biggest part of what we have compared to maybe some other coaches out there. So I absolutely love that. And in the Matrix, what we're really doing is we're teaching you how to operate, think, act, and operate like the world's wealthiest 1%. Now, when we say that, it's not a judgmental thing. And it doesn't matter if you're in the 1% or not. When we start to learn spiritually, intellectually, and physically the types of things that the world's most successful people are doing, well, we can mimic that. It's monkey see, monkey do. But again, we're not taught any of this stuff in school. So how can you mirror something if you're never exposed to it? Right? So this is really what we do. And our goal is to be the #1 lifestyle enhancement company in the world. Right? We're not a finance company. It's not just a money thing. Lifestyle enhancement. So lesson 1, goal setting. What we just did there was the history of how we got here. Lesson 1, goal setting, is really the science of achievement and how to set goals probably different than you've ever set them before. Understanding what a goal is. And when choosing a goal, a lot of people don't even know what a goal is. I did not know what a goal was until I started studying with Bob. I thought I knew what it was. You know, we were doing about $1 million a year in construction. I thought a good goal would be like 1.2, right? 20% growth. And I came out of the General Electric company from 10 years. So when you hear corporate goals, 5 or 10% a year in a multi-billion-dollar company, it's usually what they're setting. So I had no idea what an actual goal was at all. The second thing I want you guys to ask yourselves tonight is, do your goals belong to you? A lot of times people get caught up in like generational company building, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Carrying the torch for your dad or your granddad or things of that nature. But sometimes we end up setting goals because of our family or because of our spouse or because of generational, right? Do your goals belong to you is a good question to ask. Here's an amazing question. What do you really want? In the Matrix, we challenge people to answer this question. Not what do you think you can achieve, but what do you really, really want? Because they can be two totally different things. If we're focused on what we think we can achieve, that's taking today's level of awareness and then setting a goal. So you're probably just going to stay in the same industry, same types of things, and not really think much bigger. I think about like Sarah Blakely, right? She was she sold fax machines door to door. And she used to love to wear white pants, and they showed the panty line. So she hacked up a pair of pantyhose and made the first Spanx. And I mean, think about that. She's got a $2 billion international company, privately held, and she was selling fax machines door to door. So when I tell you guys can do anything and achieve anything, that's the whole purpose of the Matrix, is to spark your minds into really thinking, what do you really, really want? And a lot of times, most of you here are entrepreneurs. I think all of you, and you might have side hustles. You might have a core career or a core job, but then you're looking to really break out and build something on the side that's more of a passion. So I think it's really good to ask that and ponder that. Number 4, how do we set a goal? This is another thing I had absolutely no idea how to do. How do we set a goal? And does your goal excite / scare you? Right? Does your goal excite you and also scare you a little bit? If it doesn't scare you, you're probably not pushing the envelope. And it's not that you have to have a goal that scares you, but when you have something like that's like, oh my God, like, how am I going to do it? You're probably on the right path. So we're going to answer most of these here tonight as we go through the goal setting. And let's start with, what is a goal? In the Matrix, we define a goal as an idea that a human being falls in love with. An idea that a human being falls in love with. Elon Musk has fallen in love with getting us to Mars, getting our civilization to another planet. That is a C-type goal. And I'm not saying you have to have that type of a goal, but an idea that we fall in love with, we need to break this down a little bit, right? So if we break it down, we got to say, well, what is an idea? Interesting question. Well, an idea is a collection of thoughts. And a thought is an energy impulse sent or received from your brain. Okay, so now we're getting down to the core of what a goal is. It's energy. It's a collection of thoughts. It's energy. And then love is a frequency, right? Love is the highest frequency a human being can experience. And when we say we're in love with something, or we love something or someone, what we're really saying is I'm at a high vibration around this person, or around this summer home, or on this vacation. We're experiencing a high vibration. So it's a frequency, right? So a goal is energy that we hold in a high vibration consistently. And if you're new to the Matrix, you've probably never heard this before. If you're a student of ours, you've heard this 1,000,001 times, right? A goal is energy. So it's a vision. It's an image that we have a healthy obsession with, morning, noon, and night. And we have a lot of ways for you guys to develop this healthy obsession. And this is what we're talking about, falling in love with a goal or with energy, something you're trying to create, something you're manifesting into form. All right, so again, there's a science of goal setting, and we're going to talk about A-type goals, B-type goals, and C-type goals. And ABC just means like 1, 2, 3, that there's no acronyms here. It's just to give you kind of a hierarchy of what different types of goals are, and some of the things that you and me might be doing in life that could be holding us back a little bit. So an A-type goal is really doing something you already know how to do. This is what I was doing in construction for years. This is what I was doing in engineering. It's just trying to get a little bit more ahead. Like I said, we were doing $1 million a year, want to get to 1.1. Well, that doesn't take a lot of growth. And that might sound like a big number. It's not. In construction, only about 10% of that lands in your pocket. And I'm looking at Matt Payne. He knows that. If you get to 15, 20%, that's really good. But in luxury home building, about 10%, 10, 12% lands in your pocket. So when I was doing that, before I got into the higher levels, I was just kind of doing this, right? It's like a little bit of growth every year. And here's some examples, right? Going to the gym might be something you need to do and want to do, but it would be like an A-type goal because you know where the gym is, you know how to drive a car, right? We already know all the things to do it. And it's not to say that it wouldn't be a good thing to do, but you already know how to do it. Working in your business, right? This is what I was doing in construction. Some of you have network marketing companies, you have side hustles. So continuing to work in your business is not really a goal. It's more of a task. Getting up early. A lot of people say, I want to get up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. That's great. You have an alarm clock. You know how to set it. And you can set another one out in the kitchen if you have to, right? But the point is we already know how to do these things. And it's not to say that you don't need to do them, but it wouldn't constitute what we call a C-type goal. Sandra, you have a question?
Yeah, I guess a question. While we're sort of defining the terms and the basics, I like here's where I got a little stuck, so I just thought I should raise my hand. On the word goal, which I see you're digging deeper into right now, the way you've defined goal to me seems more like a dream. And a goal to me is more like a milestone in the progress that I'm making to achieve a dream. So I understand I have to change my verbiage so that I can.
Yeah, and it's I see where you're going. It's more of semantics. We would call it,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying we're right or wrong, but in the purpose of thinking in the results and the lineage of what we're teaching,
Yeah,
an A-type goal is more of a task. It's something that we want to check off and do, but we already know how to do it. That's the thing I want you guys to get out of this is it's doing something you already know how to do as more of a task. And it might be necessary, and you might need to close the knowing doing gap to do it, but it wouldn't constitute what we call a C-type goal. Same thing with like eating healthy. We all know where the grocery store is. Most people know that if you drink water and fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, we know kind of what a healthy diet is. But especially in North America, a lot of people, it's just easier to go to the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru. So we have all these things that kind of happen. So these are more of tasks, right? Or actually, it's called an A-type goal. So it's some subset of a goal, right? A B-type goal is doing something that's more conditional. A lot of people, including myself, kind of get caught in this trap. Right? When my kids get older, then I'll start exercising. This happens to moms a lot. They sacrifice life and limb and body for their husbands and family, and they forget to treat themselves as the most valuable person and to demonstrate that we need to take care of ourselves. And it's funny because when you talk to a mom and you really dig into deep to this and they have a daughter, it's like, well, wait a minute. It's like, would you want your daughter, 10, 20 years from now doing what you're doing? And it's like, absolutely not. So it's easy to get caught up in these traps, right? When my kids will get older, then I'll start the business. When I make more money, then I will blank, 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 take the course, do the thing, invest in myself, right? And then there's people like Steve Jobs that started with, $700 in a garage that created a $2 trillion company. Like I said, Sarah Blakely, she was not making much money selling copiers door to door. But we allow things like this to get in the way. And this is more of like a B-type goal. If I get promoted at work, then I'll work harder, or I'll give more service after I get promoted. That goes against the law of compensation, right? I'll do more when I get more. It's like, no, we need to be more and do more to receive more. There's a universal law of cause and effect, energy out, energy back. So these are what we call B-type goals. How about this one? When I have more time. Now, you might need to look at your activity management, which we teach inside of Thinking and Results. And we might need to do some calendaring and setting some new ways to form habits. But we all have the same amount of time, don't we? And again, I can show you example after example of people that have kids and things and all the stuff going on, but they're different. They think differently. And that's what thinking into results really conditions us to do. All right, so tonight is all about C-type goals. C-type goals. What do you want? And I would invite you to write down on your notepad, again, not what you think you can get. What would you love? It might be a certain income per month. It might be a certain fitness in your body. It might be a relationship. Usually people have some sort of a monetary goal because with excessive money, we can sort of buy back other areas of our life, if that makes sense. Larry, you have a question, bud?
No, I'm going to say, for when I first did this, one of the things for me was, what do you want? But subconsciously or even consciously, I was always putting conditions on that. The whole idea here is just to throw out the conditions. If you could have anything you want, what would it be, type of thing, rather than, no, I can't have that, so I'll skip that as a goal. So you have to be really careful about that when you're creating the goal.
1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. And that's the whole purpose of Thinking and Results, is to actually get us to think beyond what we see that's right in front of us. and to move into, you know, what would you love, right? As far as I know, we only get one go around. I mean, I guess I do believe in the idea there could be reincarnation. I just haven't studied it much, but we have this one shot, and I think it's important to ponder this stuff and to start to fall in love with what we're doing. Like, why are we here? You know, maybe it's 7 figures a year, maybe it's a monetary amount, maybe it's a career you love. Like, money isn't everything. Doing something you love is everything. You know, I know why Bob fell in love with teaching and coaching this material. I have fallen in love with it. I do this all day, every day. I just love connecting the dots for people. I see some of the Elite 100 on here, some of my one-on-one clients, Mindset Masters, Inner Circle, all of you guys. It's like, I know why Bob fell in love with this. So it doesn't always have to be about the money. Doing something you love, I think, is very, very important. Maybe you want to travel the world, bring your family. Maybe there's some results that you want, create some experiences. For some of you, it might just be, it might be living in a perfectly healthy body, right? Sometimes somebody's health could be like a C-type goal, or the relationship. They just want to find that human to go through life with. So any of these would be more of like what we call a C-type goal, or a fantasy, or a dream. And that's what we want you guys to really cue into here tonight, is what would you love? But like Larry said, forget about the how. And that's a confusing statement, isn't it? Right? When I was working with Bob, like I said, we were doing $1 million a year. And he said, well, why don't you take your annual income and make it your monthly income? And I said, well, how am I going to do that? He's talking about like 10 million a year. I said, how am I going to do that? Well, he said, if you knew how, you already would have done it. Now, my left brain kicked in. My logical brain said, holy cow, like that makes perfect sense. Right? If you knew how, if you knew how to hit your big dream goals, you already would have done it. So more than likely, you're not going to know how. We have to make a decision on what we want. And this program, Thinking in the Results, is a roadmap on how to change your paradigms, your belief system, your mental programs, so that you can move towards your goals. So you got to kind of throw the how out the window. And that's a challenging thing to talk about. So Neville Goddard, in his book, Power of Awareness, says, the secret is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Right? That's why I keep asking you, what would you love? Not what do you want? Right? Love is a frequency. It's a feeling. It's an emotion. It's energy in motion. It's in the subconscious mind. It's tapping into God. Right? The energy and the emotion is what we need to tap into. And this is, I didn't have this for years. I was very left brain mechanical. I'm still working on this, right? Really tapping into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So I could translate this sentence, right? The secret is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I could say the goal achieved, or the equation, I should say, is the vibration of your goal achieved, right? The equation is the vibration of your goal achieved. So it's called the actor's technique. When you spend time every day in meditation or prayer, visualizing your goal already done. And if it's a monetary amount, if it's 100K a month or something, it's not the 100K a month. It's what are you doing with it? What are the experiences that you're experiencing? This took me a while to really, really understand. The secret is getting into the vibration of your goal already achieved. And most people are so busy, they spend zero time doing this. And then they wonder why they're not moving towards their results. They think it's all physical, work 100 hours. There is a physical component, and there's also an intellectual component. You're going to see that. But the strongest component to move energy into form is the vibration. It's the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is an amazing book if you guys want to grab this. All right, so this is our friend, the mind map. And anybody that's in Thinking Results sees this thousands and thousands and thousands of times, right? And it's a graphical image of the mind-body connection. And we're not going to get too deep into it here. This is lesson 4 in Thinking in the Results. But I do want to give you enough to understand that we are electromagnetic beings. That's not my opinion. That's the physics of what a human being is. And we have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and a body, loosely speaking. The mind is actually energy in motion. It's tapped into infinite intelligence. So it's a hard thing to get an image of. But you can look at this image here and say, oh, I have a conscious, I have a subconscious, and I express through a body. This makes sense, right? So the conscious mind is the thinking mind. This is where we will get a thought. Oh, I really love to be in this career. I really love to, have this relationship, or really love to be in this body. This is where we get like a thought, right? From the conscious mind. This happens through sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell, our senses. The subconscious mind is the magnetic. This is the emotional mind. This is the feminine energy. This is about 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind or the masculine energy. The subconscious mind is our superpower. This is where all our superpowers are. This is the thing that we are not taught about in school, right? The most powerful part of a human being, we're not taught anything about this in school, and how the conscious and the subconscious come together. But the electromagnetic part of what we are shows up like this. We put off frequencies, we put off fields, right? Electromagnetic fields, electro in the conscious, magnetic in the subconscious. And if anybody here studies Dr. Joe Dispenza, you'll see that he goes very, very deep into aligning these fields to pull energy into form through the quantum field. It's the same thing as like saying praying to God from a different lens, right? So whether you're coming at it from science, theology, quantum physics, different lenses on the same thing. And what you'll find is that most humans look like this, right? Our conscious thought energy is scattered all over the place. We get 1,000,000 things we're thinking of. We wake up in chaos, chaos through the day. Everything's pulling us around. We have no focus. We're not using our calendars. And this happens to everybody, right? There's no judgment on this, but this is what happens. And so these fields get out of balance. And so I'll give you an example. Elon Musk is a highly magnetic human being. Very, very laser focused and driven. And I don't know about his quality of life, but at least as far as creating things in companies, he's very magnetic. He can post something on Twitter and move the markets, right? So that's an example of a human being that's highly magnetic. So you got to kind of wonder, where are you at in this game? How much do you know about what we're talking about here? What are you doing to balance these fields? So when we talk about the secret is the feeling of the wish fulfilled, we're talking about getting those energy fields in alignment and moving spiritually, intellectually, and physically towards your goal. All right, so there's a formula to this too, and this is what I love about sort of the scientific side of this. There's a formula towards your success, and we're going to work on this a little bit here tonight. You got to create a clear vision of what you want. Clear vision of what you want. So I would ask you guys to take a second to write down a couple things around the vision of what you're looking to create. What is your goal? And what are some thoughts, some things that would describe that goal? And for those of you that are actually in the program Thinking Results, we work on goal card, vision book, and life script, right? We have all of these tools and these things to crystallize your vision. But if you don't have a crystal clear image of your chief definite aim, you probably are not going to move towards it. And again, that's not your fault, it's your programming. I was rowing the same boat of ignorance for a good part of 45 years before I met Bob and started to understand this stuff. Right? So goal cards, vision books, and life script. And we're going to work on a goal card here tonight. You're going to leave with a goal card. The second thing, right, once you have an image, is to hold the image in a high vibration. Well, it's like, well, how the heck do we do that? Right? Do you guys ever have a school on holding the image in a vibrational state? Like, there's no classes on this. So it's not enough just to have an image of your goal. It's to maintain, most of the times, a high vibration in your mind-body connection. And the ways that we do that, right? Again, the life script will help do this. It'll help put you into a high vibration. Meditation and prayer. Different people, different things. They say different strokes for different folks, right? But taking some time to shut down and visualize will put you back into a high vibration. Exercise puts you in a high vibration. Giving gratitude. At any point in the day, we can stop and give gratitude. Masterminding, being part of a community week after week after week where you hit a reset button, right? To understand some of the things to hold your image in a high vibration. And let me ask some of you guys this. I'll ask Karen, what are some of the things that you do to maintain a high vibration throughout the day?
A whole bunch of things. So I have a PEMF device. I use that to get into balance. Sometimes I listen to dry bar comedy. That's less common. I might just go walk. I take a walk and get some fresh air. Or I'll call somebody who I know will lift me up into a higher vibration. The need for it is getting less and less and less as, you know, the more and more I've been with this community, which is amazing. So those are just some of the ideas. Listen to great music that lifts me up, or I'll get into scripture. That's always helpful. Those are my favorites.
That's amazing. You listed off quite a few, and see how easy she can do that. I mean, she's been a client for a while, and she's been through multiple courses, and even before we met, you've been through a lot of training through multiple mentors. So, but you see how easy she was able to list off like a dozen things. That is my sincere hope and wish for all of you, especially when things are getting a little chaotic, is to be able to stop, recognize, and introduce a pattern interrupt, and get yourself back into a high vibration. Because if we're going along in a low vibration, if you understand the physics of what we're talking about, you're going to repel your goal, right? Nobody has a goal to be impoverished or dis-ease. Nobody here is going to set a goal of, I want extreme dis-ease, right? We set goals of, you know, abundance and joy and things that bring philanthropy, right? It's all high vibrational things. So if your goals are on a high vibration, it would make sense that we need to maintain a high vibration, wouldn't it? But again, we're not taught any of this stuff in school. So we get 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and we start to learn some of this. And it's like, what does that even mean, right? So part 2 is to hold that in a high vibration. The third thing is an intellectual thing. Studying in your career, studying in your vertical, whatever it is that you guys are doing, if it's real estate or if it's sales or if it's network marketing or if it's coaching, whatever it is, and it could be multiple things, is the continuous improvement of your craft. And this is something you can reflect on now on your notepad. Try to list as many things as you can that you're doing right now towards enhancing your skill set in your craft, whatever that is. I'll give you guys a minute for that one. Try to list as many things as you can that you're doing, either getting mentored or following a program, raising your skills. And if the answer is no thing, that's not your fault, it's your programming. And we can I don't want to say correct it because you're not broken. We can enhance it. We can enhance that. Mr. Hornsby, what are some things that you're doing as we speak to enhance your craft?
One of the things that I try to do is surround myself around like-minded people, and I've got several masterminds that I'm a part of, and that's been a big part of it. But the other thing I do is I do the 15 minutes at night and 15 minutes during the day as far as studying, and just being consistent and persistent, and you know, trying to do it over and over again so I can replace whatever the negatives are with positives. But the one thing that I think is as instrumental as anything I do is the writing. So I journal in the morning and I journal at night. And I think that that helps me as much as anything that I do. And so those are some of the major things. And then of course I have mentors and coaches that I've paid for that really help take me to the next level.
Absolutely. So this is something I want you guys to reflect on here, because it's part of the equation that we're spelling out, part of the equation towards hitting your goal, right? And thinking in results is a toolbox. It's a mental toolbox. It wasn't created by me. It was created in a lineage of the world's most successful people, right? Or people that understand how the world's most successful people think and act and operate. So our part of the deal would be the intellectual, well, spiritual and intellectual, raising our level of awareness and the mind-body connection, understanding who and what we are, tapping into spirit, building intellect, and understanding the physical part of the equation. So that's really where the matrix comes into play in a human being's life. We're not going to teach you real estate, although we do know a lot about real estate. We're going to teach you the mindset backed by the top 1% of realtors, right? We're not going to teach you sales, but we're going to teach you the mind-body connection that you sell on 3 planes, spirit, intellect, and body. So it's my belief, and this is what I've done too, that everybody should have like a vertical specific mentor and then a mindset mentor. So again, if you're in real estate, find somebody that's crushing, 7 figures a year or 7 figures a month, and then hire them to mentor you, or study everything that they do, right? Study every book, go to every class. But then you can study until you're blue in the face if you don't understand how to build a new paradigm. If you don't understand the equipment you were born with. And that's really where we come in. All right, so the fourth thing is to take daily measurable action towards your goal, ideally every day, but if you're working a career or a job and you're building something on the side, that might be a little bit of a challenge, but you want to hold yourself accountable. Taking daily measurable action, right? Even if you worked for 15 minutes a day in a side business, it's better than 0 minutes. I'm looking at Matt Payne. We used to teach like a 15 to 30 minutes a day network marketing strategy, because we all had jobs, we all had companies actually, and we were working businesses on the side way back in the day. And we taught a half-hour a day business model that you could break up into 2 15-minute sections, right? So it can start with a very little bit of very focused time, but there's a measurement. Are you measuring the things that you're doing towards your goal? All right, so some of this is just activity management, right? You'd be surprised how many people are busy but not really getting much done. They run errands every single day. Matter of fact, I'll give you a few things that'll help you shape right now and save some time or save some activity management. It's very, very good for you to run all of your week's activities or errands on one night. Some people, they get up, they go to work, they do the thing, and then every night they're running an errand. Groceries one day, bank the next day, Home Depot the next day, doing this the other day, right? You want to group all of your tasky things like that into one night, and then discipline yourselves. If you don't do it on that night, wait for the next week. The next step is to hire an assistant, but that comes with obviously a little bit of income. But that one thing will save a lot of you from scattering your energy, running errands every single day, right? So activity management, it's not time management, it's calendar management and activity management. Having some accountability, an accountability partner, or being part of one of our mastermind groups, checking in on a weekly basis, having some accountability will absolutely raise your impact and your activity management. And again, being a part of a mastermind community, I think absolutely helps. Zena, what's up, bud? Let me see where you're at. What are some things that you do around activity management?
Oh man, activity management. I've got a whole host of things. Like number one is getting up at 4:30 in the morning.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, and then setting my goals for the day and setting the day up right, and then it just goes on and on from there. Cold plunge.
Oh, you like the cold plunges?
I do. It's just, something to get you started in the morning and something difficult to overcome to start the day.
I love that. So yeah, having some form of activity management. And for those of you that want to grab a book, there's a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I saw a couple of heads nod on that one. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Some very, very simple things you guys can do to increase efficiencies. All right. So daily measurable action is part of the equation. And here's probably the most confusing one, is to let go and let God. Whatever this means to you. Whatever this means to you. right? There is a force that grows an acorn into an oak tree, and it's not man. Really think about this. There's things you can control, and there's a whole bunch of things you can't control. We can do our part of the deal, right? You can plant a carrot seed, and you can water it every day, and you can weed the garden, right? But you can't grow the seed. Your goals are very similar to that, right? This iPhone I have in my hand used to be thought energy in Steve Jobs' mind. And he planted the seed of that in his subconscious mind, which caused his body to move into action, to assemble people, to mastermind, to bring together, to translate his ideas, to get all the raw materials out of the earth, which is, again, God's part of the deal, or universal intelligence part of the deal. Somebody put the earth here, it wasn't man. Right? So there's a co-creation. All I want you to get out of this is there is a co-creation to every single physical thing you guys are looking to do. Even ordering a pizza is a co-creation, right? You get a thought that you're hungry, that's thought energy. You pick up a phone, you send that energy out. You don't really realize what you're doing, though. It's a transmutation of thought energy from thoughts to things. And then somebody on the other end receives that energy and whips up a pizza. That's a transmutation of energy. And next thing you know, a pizza shows up. The difference between a pizza and your goal is limiting beliefs, more than likely. Limiting beliefs given to you by other people over time. Let that one sink in. Limiting beliefs given to you by other people, like since birth over time, that you had no ability to reject when you were young. When we start to get older, you guys are all at the point now where you can choose to start rejecting and accepting things, but these limiting beliefs, they set into the subconscious mind, and they can be challenging to overcome. And that's why we have the communities that we have. Right? Another part of the equation, and this is right out of Think and Grow Rich, is persistence backed by faith and a burning desire. Persistence is the physical, right? This is where, like Zenon said, up at 4:30 in the cold plunge. That's a willpower and discipline thing. It's a physical thing. Faith is a frequency of thought. It's used a lot in religion, but it's really a frequency of thought, right? Faith is knowing something will happen without knowing why it happens, right? And it's knowing that we'll create something without knowing the how. This is why we say you got to throw the how out the window. That's what faith is. It's just knowing this will happen if I do step 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And then a burning desire, that's an interesting one. Desire is not something I can place in you. It comes from the inside out. And if you don't have a burning desire, you probably haven't really pondered. You probably don't have like your C-type goal. And this is what happens to a lot of people. They get, life happens, right? And they get to a point where it's like, well, somebody else can do that, but that's not meant for me. And we become extras in our own movie instead of the stars in our own movie. So that burning desire is something when you lock into wanting to create something that you can build. But I think the first step is to understand and have hope. If somebody else can do it, you can do it, right? It might take hard work and persistence, right? And all the things here, and faith and studying and going through challenges. But this is really the equation, and this is right out of Think and Grow Rich. It's another way to look at the same thing. And again, studying, right? A lot of people are conditioned in school. I don't want to study because there's little math, science, English, history. We were forced to study things that don't do anything, right? You get out of high school, you know nothing really about anything. You don't know about developing real estate, or you don't know about relationships or balancing a checkbook. So we get conditioned not to want to study. When you start studying things like Think and Grow Rich, U squared, power of awareness, and your whole life changes, study thinking and the results, take a deep dive, you fall in love with studying again, because we're finally doing it for our life's purpose. So studying is an absolute key part of this. I want to work really quickly on this. And again, for those of you that are with us in Thinking Results, we're obviously going to take a very deep dive on this. Creating a goal card. It's like a GPS direction. I want you guys to leave with something. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then fill in the blank, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning in excess of $1 million a month through multiple revenue sources in a calm, confident, heavenly manner with grace and ease. I want you guys to leave here with something. And for those of you that want to continue on the journey, we're going to give you a chance to do that. For those of you that are actual students, you already know and you do this, right? So what you're saying is I am a creator. It's the two most powerful words in the English language. I am a creator, and happy is a frequency of thought. It's a high frequency, like love, right? So I am a creator in a high frequency, and being grateful, we're grateful for things that are already manifested. Grateful for your health, your family, your business. We're usually grateful for what is manifested. So we're saying, I am a creator in a high vibration, and it is done. You're speaking into existence. Like words are sound, and sound is energy. Energy out, energy back. I give an example. I said both Jesus and Hitler used nothing but words to create. Think about that. One was very negative and destructive. One is going to go on forever. It's very creative and positive, right? And then I like to say in a calm, confident, heavenly manner with grace and ease, so it doesn't happen in a chaotic, messed up, uncontrolled way, right? So I want you guys to leave here with some sort of goal in mind. Now, does anybody have a quick question? I know we're at the top of the hour. We're going to wrap up shortly. Does anybody have a quick question on that? Igor? Oh, he's in the waiting room. Anna?
Do we write just one thing that we are trying to accomplish, one goal, or do we
That's a great
put
question.
all of them?
Great question. So Bob used to say, you don't want to work on 10 things at once, right? And I agree with that. Very few people can change 10 things, but here's some good examples. Having a financial goal and a physical goal at the same time would be fine. Or a relationship goal and a financial goal. You wouldn't want to set like 6 financial goals, like a real estate office, a restaurant, a movie theater, right? All at once. Certain things want to happen in succession, but setting a health goal and a financial goal at the same time on 2 separate goal cards is totally doable. And they usually help each other too. Getting to a really good healthy state is going to help your finances and vice versa. So great question. All right, so I want you guys to imagine, just play along with me here. If you could close your eyes, take a deep, deep breath. We went through a lot of content in a short amount of time. Big breath in, big breath out. I want you guys to imagine over the next 6 months, next 12 months, that you've finally found the roadmap, the answers, kind of the how behind the mind-body connection. And you're learning to move towards your goal. You're learning to understand what a transmutation of energy is, what manifesting is. And you finally decided to take action and move towards this awareness, this understanding of the mind-body connection. The biggest investment you can make is actually in yourself. It's not a real estate deal or a business. And I want you to picture 3 months going by and your awareness is going up. You're moving towards your goals. You're getting healthier. You're starting to have more successes. Things are starting to click into place. What you're really doing is invoking the law of attraction. You're doing your morning routine. You're doing your nightly routine. You're starting to attract people, places, things. Circumstances are coming into your life. 6 months goes by, half the year is over, 2024. Things are really, really starting to happen. Revenue's going up. You're in the best shape in a long time. You're feeling healthy. You're feeling happy. You're feeling wealthy. Right? 9 months goes by, and you're into your second round of thinking into results. Like, I'm going to go through this again. We have a lot of people that go through this over and over and over again. And maybe for some of you, you've met that person. Maybe that's your goal. One of your goals is to meet that person. Go through life with that special human. Your business is rocking and rolling, moving towards your goals. There's been some challenges, but you've overcome them because you've learned to master the art of remaining calm. You've learned to not have anxiety. You've learned to live from the inside out in a responsive state instead of from the outside in a reactive state. And then you come to the new year. New Year 2025, right? And you're sitting around with friends and family and you're reflecting back on tonight, for some of you, for making the decision to move forward and work towards your goals in a proven system, having a roadmap, having a group of people that can help you move towards your goals. I want you to hold on to that feeling of New Year 2025 and open up your eyes. And then write down on paper, how does that feel? What's the first thing that comes to your mind as you're going through that? And we've had a lot of people, many people, we've had about 700 people go through Thinking Results. And I think of Bill Rogers, a dear friend of mine. We've been through war together, not literally, but construction. And he was able to change everything. And he's had some ups and downs, and he's plowed right through them. He was able to move to Florida, has multiple revenue streams, he's rekindled with the love of his life. Has been absolutely just magical, and really living his best life of health and wealth, love and happiness. We had lunch the other day. He's down here in Florida, and just a shining example of what can happen when somebody thinks into results. Think about the title of what we're talking about here, thinking into results. And a lot of you know our very own Angie Leitnicker really learned to live from the inside out and not be in a reactive state to the environment. She's had some major challenges, like everybody. We've all had challenges, but I've seen Angie power through some things literally in real time, using this content, living it and breathing it, and just overcoming challenge after challenge. And she's created a global education system for young children and adults from this content. I remember when this was just a spark in a dream, so crazy to watch. And now she's collaborating with people like Brian Proctor and soon to be Les Brown, I think. And again, she's living her best life because she's found that purpose, literally living her purpose. I think of Len and Beth Romanowski. Len's a brother of mine. I mean, just an absolute amazing human being, and so is Beth. And Lenny graduated from his anesthesiology career, and he's just going on to live an absolutely amazing life, and really supportive, helping Beth create the Bench Project, which is a global charity now. They're in multiple countries, an absolute passion project. And I remember when that was just a spark. I literally remember this was just a discussion in the Elite 100. And the biggest thing is just their life together, right? Going through Thinking the Results and being in these communities, it's not just a money thing. It's a quality of life thing. So you're going to see a lot of people, especially the couples, get closer and closer. And here's my amazing offspring. She has attracted the man of her dreams. She's got the career of her dreams, really crafted a balanced life of health and wealth and love and connection to God. And, she's moving towards just crafting everything. A lot of you follow her on Instagram. And I remember when she's 18 years old, I literally charged her to go through Thinking in her Results. She was one of the first group of like 10 people. And Matt Payne, I think you remember that. You charged your daughter. I'm like, absolutely. I didn't charge her full price, but people don't value free is the thing. It wasn't about me needing her money. It was about understanding the exchange of energy, right? Exchanging something for something of a higher value. And I had the pleasure of working with Anthony Lamakia's team. A lot of you know them. Biggest thing, Anthony was an unconscious competent. He's the CEO of Lamakia Realty. They had about 200 agents. And I really showed him more about how his agents think and act and operate. We brought that mind map out, and he was wondering, like, why don't they just do this? Why don't they understand this? I said, well, you're speaking Chinese. They don't, just because you operate at this level, you're an outlier. And as soon as we tweaked a few things, we worked with their top management team and a bunch of agents. We helped them pass $1 billion, moving towards $2 billion, and set a new goal of 10 billion. This was quite some time ago. We worked with them for a while. So just recently, I learned of where they're currently at. So individuals, CEOs, corporate teams, everything in between. I want you guys to imagine what your life will be like taking this journey. So for those of you that are clients, obviously we love and appreciate you. I love and appreciate everybody here. If you've been with us in the past through Thinking the Results, we have a whole new program. We can go back through it again. And for those of you who have never done it, we encourage you to book a strategy session. We have a few different ways we can help people. This is an actual strategy session. We'll assess where you're at. take a look at what your goals are, make some recommendations. You'll leave the strategy session better off than we found you, and moving in a direction that will help you move towards your goals in 2024. All right, everybody. So that has been our lesson 1, thinking into results, goal achieving workshop. Hopefully you get a lot of value out of tonight. We love and appreciate you all. Does anybody have any last minute questions or comments before we wrap up? Everybody good? All right, all right. Well, God bless you and your families. It's been my pleasure to serve you guys here tonight. And for our normal clients, we'll see you here next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern for lesson 2, closing the knowing doing gap. Have a great night and be well, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good session.
Thanks, Brian.
Awesome. Thank you. Much
Nice.
appreciated.
Thank you very much. A lot of.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.